Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How we doing today?
Wonderful.
Thank you very much for joining us and for being on time. We really do appreciate that. And for everybody in all the other offices, I appreciate you guys being on time too. So this is our October sales meeting, and I've got a lot of really great information I'm looking forward to sharing with you guys today. So we're just going to kind of go ahead and jump right on into it. So well, let me back up. My name is Alan Richardson. I'm the managing broker at Maximum Realtor Partners kind of thing. And so I just want to make sure everyone knew who I was and what's going on, that kind of thing. So I want to talk really quickly about our place in the real estate industry right now. And so real estate has a last mile problem. And it's one of those things you normally hear about it in logistics. We hear about it all the time, you know, in that last mile. And normally it means about getting items from a factory and a warehouse, getting them all the way down to a distribution center and then all the way out to somebody's house. Well, you know, and there's a lot of complex issues with that final delivery. And so it's called the last mile problem. And we have a similar issue going on in the real estate world right now. Because in real estate, there's a lot of services out there that generate leads. There's lead gen, there's all these lead gen companies out there. And so, and there's just literally thousands and thousands of ads, leads, all these kind of things coming into the real estate space. Lots of investment going on, a lot of it by real estate professionals. But at the end of the day, what has to happen? Like there's still a relationship that happens. Like no one is buying a house through Amazon. There's and so, you know, basically we are the last mile, right? There can be all these other kind of things going on out there in our marketplace, but we are the last mile. And that's why you're seeing right now all the big players in the real estate data space, Zillow, Opendoor, that kind of stuff. They are all of a sudden, who do they love again? They love us. Agents. All of a sudden, they're back in love with us, right? Opendoor's got a lot of huge incentives now for real estate agents partnering with us. Just about everybody out into the real estate space. When you look at homes.com, you know, they're super into agent engagement. Zillow, Redfin, everyone, agent, and that's because a real estate transaction doesn't happen without us. And so we have to understand that we are crucial to this transaction going through. And so, you know, a lot of times, you know, for those of us who've been in the business for a long time, I remember when every time there was a new disruptor coming along, that, you know, there's going to be there's a new Uber of real estate. And then there was an Amazon, there's going to be an Amazon of real estate, all that kind of stuff. And guess what happened? We're still crucial to the transaction. We are absolutely crucial to the transaction. We are the last mile, and they can't replace us for that reason. And so now there's a lot of the online companies and agents kind of wish the other party would go away. I mean, if we're just being honest, right? I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've heard agents say, like, I just wish Zillow didn't exist, right? Yeah. Well, it's kind of, this is one of those things where this is a love-hate relationship, but there really is kind of an equilibrium between the two forces and parties. And what we're seeing now is that there was this big shift in trying to replace agents. And they haven't been able to, and they're not successful in it. And it's because when people buy and sell homes, what's the number one factor about why you work with somebody?
Human connection.
Trust. It really comes down to trust. And can you trust a company or a digital platform or an online person? Now, you want to look somebody in the eye when you're dealing with your most expensive asset, kind of thing. And so we can work together. And so even though there is this last mile problem, like we are the last mile solution. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because, you know, a lot of times there is this negativity at times in our industry. And I remember when the, you know, like I know I'm dating myself here a little bit, but back in the day, we used to actually have like before when the MLSs first came out, like we used to get property listings on Tuesdays. They come in on a, you know, on paper kind of thing. I'm really dating myself now. But you know, and then the MLSs came and we're like, oh my goodness, you know, there's not gonna be any need to have real estate agents. And then we got, you know, companies like Zillow and Redfin. Oh my goodness, there's no reason for agents. And now we got all these iBuyers, and oh no, there's no reason for agents. Well, guess what? There's a huge reason for agents. And so I want you to feel comfortable about that and know that we're not being replaced. If you choose to get replaced, that's on you. It's not on the industry right there. So one thing I do want to kind of jump into, which kind of works off that, is there's a lot of conversations right now around NAR, around being a realtor, around commission lawsuits and those kind of things going on. Have you guys been hearing a lot of that stuff going on out there? Well, I mean, it really is. There's a ton of conversations in the space. Now let's talk about like just on the lawsuit to begin with, right? Is there a reason why we don't hear about it in Georgia? I mean, why are we not worried about the lawsuit nearly as much in Georgia?
Because it hasn't affected us.
Well, because the whole premise of the lawsuit is that in certain states, and even according to NAR rules, that you had to offer a buyer's cooperation. You had to pay a buyer's compensation, a buyer's agent. So it was required, it was written into the NAR rules, written into the local, because a lot of MLSs are members of NAR. They had to follow those rules, and it was stated in some states that they even stated how much the percentages were. And then some companies adopted that. And is that really a fair trade practice is really what it comes down to? No, it isn't. Now in Georgia, have we always been able to offer no compensation? Yeah, because that's written in our laws. Our rules are different, right? There's only a handful of states where this is really kind of does apply, because state law is going to supersede that. So we haven't been like here in Georgia, we've worked with, like I don't agree with no compensation for the buyer's agent, but a seller has been able to offer their property in Georgia for no compensation for the buyer's agent, correct? It's been that way for as long as I remember. And so in those places, it really wasn't, that wasn't the case. And then we see a lot of other companies that are leaving NAR, in part because NAR just had a big sexual harassment lawsuit kind of thing, and that's totally unacceptable, that kind of thing. NAR has made some changes on allowing zero compensation amounts, but I'm just hearing so many people be really, really negative about being a realtor, about do we, why should I be a member of NAR? Should I keep, is there a purpose in being a member of NAR? I'm wearing my realtor pin. I normally wear it most days, kind of thing. Like I'm a proud realtor. And so we're seeing this big shift right now where people are questioning, should there be an NAR? Should I be a member of NAR? And honestly, we have two companies, right? We have a realtor company and we have a realty company. So I have a lot of folks that aren't part of it. And I'm not judging anyone that chooses to set up and run their business that way. That's not where I'm trying to go. But I do want you to understand that there's some real value in having our organization that we do. Like, there's 3.5 million truck drivers, about 1 million doctors, 5.5 million nurses, 32 million people in retail. There's 3.5 million farmers, 10 million construction workers. There's about 1.5 million realtors. Guess which group has the greatest amount of power when it comes to lobbying? NAR, right? We're one of the strongest lobbying forces in the state of Georgia and in the nation. We're very well organized. Honestly, a lot of us are standing on the backs of NAR for a long time. Like my mom lives in Australia. There's no buyer's compensation in Australia. A lot of countries there aren't. We think that it's just kind of that way. No, this was all set up originally. Guess who set it all up? NAR did, right? And so, we have an organization that looks out for real estate rights, personal property protection rights, looking out for the best interest of realtors. Now, I can for sure say, I don't agree with a lot that NAR does. I don't think that they're a perfect organization. I'm not like, everybody should be a realtor. That's not what I'm here for. But don't act like this isn't an organization that hasn't looked out for our best interest for a long time. And the fact that we are, the contracts that we have, that we've developed over all the years, the relationships that we have, the training that we get, the fair housing, all these kind of things came up through NAR. So while it's very easy to kind of jump on that bandwagon, just think about where we'd be without NAR. Where would we be if we didn't have these kind of organizations? You know, we do have, there is definitely a political advantage to us having it. I can't count the number of things that folks have tried to push through the laws and that kind of stuff that would have been very detrimental to us. You know, for those of us in Georgia that were, you know, like when COVID hit, guess who was an essential business? We were. Who pushed that? GAR did, right? And so, again, I'm not trying to say they don't have problems. I'm not trying to say there's not issues, but like, I still see a lot of real value for us in there. Just in being very well organized and having an organization that's looking out for our best interest overall. I don't agree with everything they do. I know they've got a lot of problems. That being said, am I still a proud realtor? Yeah, I am. And so I just kind of want to kind of go there real quick, because right now we have you know, the human mind is kind of broken up into two. Part of us is like Mr. Spot, right? He's very slow to make decisions. He carefully considers the facts and options, very unemotional. The other half of us, Homer Simpson, right? You know, very quick to make decisions. We don't think much about it. We tend to be very emotional. Which one do you think wins a lot of times? Homer wins a lot, right? Yeah. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at things, you know, more like Mr. Spot, right? That's our goal here is not trying to be super geeky about it, but let's look at things from Mr. Spot's point of view on a life, because we need that to make sound decisions, not just emotional decisions. And I'm not just talking about NAR, I'm talking about like everything going on in real estate. Because what's the general mood with a lot of our clients right now? Is it very positive or is it very negative? Well, y'all can speak up. It's okay. It's a little bit negative right now. It is, right? Is that based on facts or is that based on feelings? Feelings. So a lot of very feelings based kind of thing. So we're seeing a lot of Homer traits going on right now, and so that's why I want to kind of jump into like a little bit more of the specifics here, because we got a lot of folks. I know it's Halloween season, but we got folks waiting on the housing market to crash, right? And are we looking at a housing market crash? No, we really aren't. Now, is this my Homer Simpson talking about that, or is this my Spot talking about that? You think? No. This is my Homer saying. Like what the reason I don't agree with this. Homer thinks this. Okay. All right, y'all follow me on this, right? So let's get into looking at some of the numbers, what we're really looking at. And so the very first one I want to kind of jump into is property values. And so the top graph is you know, this is from Georgia MLS. The bottom graph is from FMLS. And see that our average sales price is right at $435,000 in Georgia MLS, 463 in FMLS. That's up 5.4% and 5.2% respectively. So our property value is going down. No. And so the reason that this is such an important number is when the average person, when you talk to somebody on the street or you call a client, what's always their question? How's the market? Bingo. How's the market? Now, do you really think that they care about the volume of sales or what pending sales are? They want to know, is my house worth more today than it was yesterday, this month than it was last month, this year than last year? You know, am I going to lose money on my investment? Is my home going to be worth less money? And so are our homes worth less money? No, it isn't. Now, what we do see is, you know, this is the last 50 years roughly. This is how much our properties tend to move by month. Some months it's only 0.1%. Some months it's almost an entire percent. Normally it's during the summer. We see that same kind of. It's based largely on the number of transactions. But if you look up here on the left, this is what our property value increases have been by month for the year. So we were up in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. You guys see any negatives there? So our property value is going down.
No.
Do we see a trend where they're going down?
No.
Month over, I mean, just this past month in Georgia, property values increased by 0.8%. Normally it's 0.3. Wow. So we're continuing to see now, but residential real estate is based on supply versus demand. Right? So do we have very constrained supply right now? Yes. But what else do we have? We still have demand. And so demand is outpacing the supply that we have in them. And when that's the case, what happens to prices? Right, but now, are these crazy high prices? Y'all remember summer 2021? We were up 5, 10, I mean, we ended up the year almost 17% up. And that's not sustainable, right? For the last 50 years, property values have increased at 4.4% a year for the last 50 years. So we're in a very healthy place right now when it comes to property values. And it's a very good place, and it's a good way for us to be able to explain this to our clients in a very positive way. Like, these are real numbers. I'm not just putting stuff up on the screen. You know, follow me? Because that's what I'm talking about, is like let's look at these like spot. So year-over-year change, you can see, are some states in the US at negative, have lost money. Some states have. What do y'all notice about Georgia? We're in the 5 to 7% range. So Georgia is, I mean, and there's a lot of red states. Overall, you know, like it's very hard to talk about, because real estate's very local. And even talking at state level, I mean, you know, the market in Alpharetta is not the same market that we have in Griffin, for example. But overall in Georgia, we're in really good shape when it comes to that kind of stuff. The Sun Belt does really, really well overall. But that's where we sit. And so if you look at where are we going to finish at the end of the year at property values, AEI, Zillow, Fannie Mae, Mortgage Bankers Association, NAR. If you average all those out, they're looking at that. We're going to finish up 3.5% for the year. But you know, there's a, you know, Keeping Current Matters went out and they polled 100 economists and real estate experts and things like that. And they said, investment strategists, whole 9 yards, big brains, and said, where do you see property values going over the next 5 years, 6 years? And so they're looking at 3 to 4% property value increase over the next 4 or 5 years. What do you think that looks like to you?
A healthy market.
A healthy market. Thank you very much. I mean, like this is something that it keeps us slightly ahead of inflation. It's a good positive way. Homeowners are still growing equity year over year. This is still a really good place to be. And so should you still be buying homes? Should our buyers still be buying homes in this market? Because I mean, we get that all the time. Interest rates are 7.5. Should I still buy? Well, I mean, like, if you don't buy this house this year, I can sell you this house next year for more money. Right? And that's really kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
On there. And so if you bought a house in January of this year for $400,000, and all you did was follow along with whatever this estimated home price performance is, 2, 3, 4% every year, in 5 years, that home's going to be worth $471,000. Right? We're not looking at property values decline. We're not looking at them drop. And as a matter of fact, if you look at how much has property values increased in the state of Georgia over the last 5 years? 71%. Right? In the last 3 years alone, it's up nearly 50%. And that's part of the reason why, like, those $200,000 homes that everybody keeps looking for. Well, a $200,000 home 3 years ago at 50% property value increase, what's that now? $300,000. Yeah. So there isn't a $200,000 house out there anymore. There's a $300,000 house that used to be $200,000 3 years ago. But you know, if you bought a home 5 years ago, your equity has grown by 71%. Is that a great place to be? Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And so this is why, like, even I'm never one of those. It's like, it's always a great time to buy. It's always a great time to sell. But we do have to understand that there is the wealth creation in the United States is tied up in home ownership. And we're not looking at any reason why property values would do anything but continue to move up. But let's keep looking at numbers, not feelings. We're trying to get away from Homer. What are we trying to be more like? Spot, right? We're going after Spot today. Y'all with it? So, all right, how about new listings? So this year in red, what do you notice this year on new listings versus last year?
Less this year.
Yes.
And how about the year before that? And the year before, oh, you can't see it on here, but new listings continue to be down. We're down about 47%. from where we were in 2019. Same thing. So we're down 8.7% in new listings in Georgia MLS. We're down 15% new listings in FMLS. Our total inventory, just our total number of active listings is down 7.6% this year versus last year. Same thing in Georgia, and 7.6 in Georgia MLS, 12.3% in FMLS. We don't have enough listings to sell. So we don't have enough new listings, and we don't have enough total standing inventory at all. Matter of fact, we're seeing a big shift where active listings are greater than our newer listings. So what do you think happens when you have a lot of older inventory that stays on the market?
Prices start to drop.
No,
No,
we're gonna start seeing expired listings again. So, I mean, like right now, they're we've not been in a place for the last several years where expired listings are really a piece of our market, right? But what happens here? We're seeing where that spread between new properties come out. They're in good areas, priced right, in good condition. What happens to those properties? They sell quickly.
Yeah.
We're still going under contract in 2 weeks. Now, those properties that are overpriced, sitting out there, the sellers say, you know, let's just try this price. What's happening to those properties? They're sitting, and when they sit, what happens?
prices drop.
They expire.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, we see no reason for, I mean, there isn't, it's supply versus demand. There's not enough properties. We're not seeing property values drop. We're seeing sellers who aren't necessarily realistic about their price though. So do I feel like expired listings is one of those things that is a good opportunity for us to be focused on right now? Yes, yes, I do. The other thing is for sale by owners. You know, in this market, we've seen where for sale by owner have been dropping every year up until this past year. All of a sudden, for sale by owners have jumped up. So it's up at 10%. But is it easy to sell your home for sale by owner? No. Only about half the folks who do it are actually successful. What do you think happens to that other half? Look, whether they're expired listing for sale by owners, right? You know, they're either going to have to relist or list with a current agent. They're going to take their house off the market, list it for sale by owner, or relist it with a new real estate agent. Like these are the options for these folks. Half the folks who are trying to sell themselves are not successful. We're seeing more folks where more expired listings are going to be falling off the market. There's going to be more opportunity here. So for agents looking to pick up market share, these would be two areas that I would definitely be looking at focusing on right now is expired listings and for sale by owners. Just because of the market dynamics and what we're seeing happening in the market right this month. Does that make sense? So, how about new home sales? What do we see happening with new home sales? Because our total sales have been, just the volume of sales has been down. But new home sales have actually been trending up, even though as a percentage of market, they're much higher. But we're seeing where new home sales are trending up now. And so this is another place where we have more inventory. And so right now we're sitting at about 2.7 months of standing inventory, which will be in just a minute. And we need 6 months of inventory to have a balanced market. And so we're less than half of that right now. But in new homes, in new construction, how much inventory are we sitting on? 7 months on average. 7 months of standing inventory. So right now, we already said that what's one of the biggest challenges for our marketplace is supply. We don't have enough homes to sell. Where do we see more supply at? New construction, right? So because that's what I want you to look at, is not just look at feelings, but where's opportunities for us to look at in the marketplace. So I really like for sale by owners and expires. I also think that you know, taking my buyers and working with new construction is also a really smart play for us right now. It's a place where we actually have inventory. Matter of fact, new construction makes up almost 1/3 of our total inventory right now. So now we are holding, well, we have more classes coming up with new construction. We're starting to create some more new construction classes because selling a home, I mean, you know, representing a buyer in the purchase of a resale and representing a buyer in the purchase of a new construction home, it's in the same ballpark, but it's definitely on a different field. And so you got to understand what it's like to work in a new construction environment. So please get the education, the training, get advice, talk to us, talk to the mentors if you're not familiar with it, because it's a good place for us to be. So I just mentioned this before, but we're at 2.7, or we're 2.7 months of standing inventory. And so we've been running, and so are we trending up on inventory total, just on the number of months? But this is based on supply versus demand, right? So we see that demand is not as high as it was, but supply is also not as high as it was. So we're still sitting at 2.7 months of standing inventory. Last year, we were at 2.4 months. 6 months ago, we were at 2.5 months of standing inventory. So we just don't have enough homes right now. And so again, when we're sitting on tight inventory like that, can prices fall? And we don't have enough homes to sell. So we're not looking at property values. We haven't seen property values decline, and we don't have enough homes to sell right now. So we're averaging about 48 days on the market in Georgia MLS, 39 in FMLS. And so days on market is trending up and down kind of thing. But you know, in Georgia MLS, it's actually trending down, and FMLS is trending up, which is different on there. So our inventory is historically low. As a nation, we're sitting at 44% of where we were in 2019, just on total inventory. In Georgia, we're at 47%. Which means the number of homes we had for sale in 2019, take almost half of those. That's how many homes we have for sale today. How long is it going to take us to get that inventory back up? Years, right? This is nothing that we're looking at. This is not going to change overnight, kind of thing. I mean, it would take something, global wars, that kind of stuff, but we're not. Well, I mean, you can't predict everything, right? But there's no reason right now. We just don't have enough homes, and we need more inventory. So, how about our pending listings? Pending listings are down 11%. So this is an indicator of where we've been, of what's been going on, and we continue to run under last year. And so pending sales, this is the one that hurts us, because this is our total number of sales we see moving forward. Our actually closed inventory transactions is down about 20% in FMLS, 17% in Georgia MLS. So the overall number of transactions that we are seeing are down close to 20%. That's the one that hurts us, right? That's the one that we feel. Do our buyers and sellers feel this volume issue? No, they're looking at property values for them. You know, everybody listens to the same radio station, right? WIIFM, what's in it for me? And so for real estate agents, this is the one that really matters to us. For our home sellers and home buyers, they want to know about property value. But you know, one of the things that we see a lot of times, a lot of folks talking about, especially right now, is, oh, those dirty iBuyers. We don't like iBuyers. We don't like Blackstone. We don't like these people who buy all these homes, right? Which investor group buys more homes than anybody else? Mom and pop investors, small investors by a large share. iBuyers nationwide this year, only 3,000 properties, 125,000 properties from mom and pop. Now, what's the advantage for mom and pop when it comes to us? Who represents mom and pop?
We do.
We do, right? So is this a bad thing for us? No. So it's very easy to make iBuyers, large industrial buyers, out to be the boogeyman. But is that really the cause? Like, are they impacting our industry nearly as much as we want to give them credit for? No, they really aren't. You know, we talk a lot about iBuyers and things like that, but they really don't have nearly as much impact as when you look at it compared to, like, especially mom and pop buyers. So right now, 2023, we are tracking well behind the boom years. 2021, 2022, those were definitely the boom years for us. We had a lot of transactions during those kind of time periods post-COVID. And so if current trend holds, we're going to sell about 4.15 million homes this year. And that looks kind of depressing, doesn't it? How many houses is that a day? I know the number, but I'll let you pull it up for me, okay? It's gonna be a little over 11 million, 11,000 houses a day. Yeah, 11,384 houses every single day.
Wow.
So yes, is the volume down? No doubt, it absolutely is. Are we still selling 11,324 change homes every single day. So like, if you're not playing in that market, then it's in your head, right? Every day, 11,000 homes. Every time when you wake up, you roll over, your head gets off that pillow. Like, I need to go sell one of the 11,000 houses today, right? Because there's still a lot of positive, activity happening in our marketplace. The other positive side of this is we've seen property value increases. That's really good for our sellers, right? Well, if we sold that home 3 years ago for $200,000, how much are we selling that home for today? 300,000 on average. I mean, right, like 50% property value appreciation over the last 3 years, 70% over the last 5 years. So that home we sold 3 years ago for $200,000, we're selling that home today for $300,000. Now, for most of us are not flat fee with our, we charge a certain percentage. And so what are we seeing happen with that buyer pool? Even though the total number of sales is down, are the sales bigger?
Yes.
Yes. So like, yes, I know volume is down, but guess what? The dollars are up substantially. And so if property values have increased by 50% over the last 3 years, how much have commissions increased over the last 5 years? Roughly the same amount, just based on the percentage. And so like if you were getting, there's no price fixing, right? But let's just say you were getting 3% 3 years ago at $200,000, you're probably getting 3% this year at $300,000. Y'all follow me? So it's a bigger piece of the pie that we're seeing happen for us right now also. And so is this bad for us? No. Again, are we looking at this analytically? Are we Spock or are we Homer? Yeah. Well, I mean, we're all Homer. I know we are, but I want you to look at these things analytically, right? So how about activity? Are we seeing activity levels increase? I mean, the folks still want to buy. Yes. Even, hey, but interest rates are high. I know. Look what's going on. Now, showing time. These are showings going on. What do you notice happening this year versus last year, especially for the last 3 months on showings in the last 3 months? Up 5.4, up 18, up 16, up 8. Now, for the year, maybe down. What's going on with the number of showings for the last 3-4 months? It's increasing. So we're seeing where it moves up. And so we're seeing where our buyers are still actively engaged in the marketplace. What's the single best week to buy of the year?
First or second week of October.
Today. I'm being absolutely serious. Like, this is in Georgia, the best week to buy is this week. Now you might say, Alan, why would and I'm not saying that from a point of view of this is the best week to buy because I say so kind of thing. Right? This week right here typically has 11%, 12% more listings than the average week. And 17%, we have 17% more inventory than we had at the beginning of the year right now. Also, we have 18% less buyers right now. 18% less less competition, and 12% more listings. Right now, this is where the buyer activity is at its lowest compared to the available properties. So if you're looking to really engage in the marketplace, this is the best week. On average, the average buyer right now will save $15,000 to buy during this week. So what do you think we should do when we leave here today? We need to be showing homes. We need to be setting up appointments, right? Like this is the absolute best week this week. In the state of Georgia, this is the best week. Some states it was last week. In Georgia, it's this week is the best week of the year to buy a home. At least get one under contract. Because you have less competition and you have more inventory than we've had for the rest of all year long. So again, if you're going to go with the Homer Simpson, I'm depressed, nothing going on, interest rates are high, are you going to make phone calls? You're going to go out and engage with your folks. Now, if you're Spock, you're going to be like, this is the best week to buy This is a really smart play. This is gonna be really good for my buyers. Should we go out and start engaging with folks and setting up appointments today? Yes, absolutely. Y'all with me? One other thing with buyers here, 27% of our buyers, I'm sorry, 20% of employees are working remotely. Has that shifted and changed our buyers' thoughts and what our buyers are looking for in houses and stuff like that? Yeah. I mean, when a quarter of your buyers now are able to work from home, are they looking for different houses? You know, like what are the differences when you work from home? Well, you get to like it doesn't matter where you work, you can experience new places, you can work on your home office, your space. It opens up a lot of options for you. You can save money on living expenses. Are we talking about this out there on social media, in our database, things like that? Right now, this is a huge and very positive talking point for buyers. Like, you work remotely, our remote workers, do they care where they live? Not nearly as much. We're seeing where folks what is the average move in the state of Georgia right now? Well, how far from where they are now to where they move? What is the average distance moved in Georgia?
Isn't it a couple of miles on the road?
Oh, no, it's
No.
100 miles, 110 miles in Georgia. Previously, it was 14 miles. We're moving farther than we ever have. But when you don't have to go into the office, what do they need? High-speed internet? And you know, the other thing that's interesting is, used to be everyone open floor plans. Well, can you zoom it with an open floor plan? Makes it really hard because when everybody walks across the middle of your room. So we're seeing where you know, office space, flex space, things like that, really important for our remote workers out there. But this is a really great talking point. So, you know, these are the gems I want you to pull out. Like, for sale by owners, expireds, work, you know, reaching out to our buyers is the best week, and then talking about remote work and the types of homes that remote workers are really looking for. These are all really positive things for us to be taking out to our clients. So, are you spot or are you home? Okay, I really want us to be a lot more like spot, a lot less than Homer. I know that we're a lot like Homer. It does. You're exactly right. Yeah, you're exactly right. But you know, I want you to have what you need in order to make analytical decisions about what's going on out there. So now, I can't go through this and not talk about what's going on with mortgage rates, because our mortgage rates are our friend. No, not really. Let's just be straight up about it, kind of thing. Even this past week, they went up again. But of course, and they went up because the job market was really good, which makes absolutely no sense. You figure the job market being good would not make interest rates rise up. But they're seeing that as a reason why inflation would be high, and they're worried that the Fed's going to continue to keep the federal funds rate high, kind of thing. And so what I want you to see is that, you know, you got 30-year fix, you got jumbos, FHAs, and ARMs out there. Are ARMs a viable part of our mortgage world? Like, you gotta understand, like right now, especially right now, for our buyers, is there a one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to getting a mortgage? And so, yeah, we definitely, you know, conventional loans, there's more conventional loans than there is anything else. They're definitely out there. FHA loans, the really nice thing about FHA loans is they're running about 1/3 of a point less than conventional loans are right now. So we're seeing a big shift, and then FHA lowered the mortgage insurance amounts. Say the average buyer, you know, $1,200–1,500 a year kind of thing. VA loans might be a really good option for buyers that have that entitlement. USDA loans for our buyers who are remote working. It doesn't matter where you work, all you gotta do is have high-speed internet. Is USDA a good option for them? See, in the past, we had a lot of times it was a buyer, and we wouldn't be talking a lot about mortgage products. And so we have to understand that, you know, we're the #1 source of our buyers' financial information when it comes from mortgages. What is the #1 source of that information? Us. And I don't mean that disrespectful. we're not the nitty gritty, get down to it. But we are the number one source. And so we have to be ready to kind of have enough basic information, be able to speak intelligently. Now, we're not pulling credit. We're not getting into people's financial world, but we have to have really sound financial partners that we're working with that understands these things. Because are we going to have are the vast majority of our mortgages fixed rate? You bet. And rightfully so. But that being said, ARMs are making up about 8-9% of our mortgage world right now, adjustable rate mortgages. Most of those are on a 5/1, which means that the rate's going to be set for the first 5 years. If you're going to get an ARM, it's probably going to be set a little bit lower than what's the goal then? Refinance in the next 5 years. You do that because you think the rates are going to be going down. 2-1 buy downs, 3-2-1 buy downs. We're seeing a lot of those, especially with our new construction going on out there. DPAs. We have a lot of DPA programs depending on location and the quality and the qualifications of your buyers, that kind of stuff. Second mortgages, we don't deal in that so much. But then even DSCRs, debt service coverage ratios, those are for investor loans. And so one thing that's going to happen today is when we finish, we got all the folks from the Wildfire Mortgage teams are here, and we are partnered with Cross Country. And so they're going to be here. And so they're going to go through when we break off into our local ones. And so like I got Christian here with me, Barry's over in the Noonan office. And so we're going to be going through those individually. In McDonough, we got Sharon. So everybody is where they need to be. And so we have lenders that's going to talk to you about, and what I want you to get is not that we have to be this walking book of mortgage information. But when right now is a challenging environment for our buyers. Yes. And so this idea of having one type of loan, one loan product that fits everybody is not sound right now. I want you to be really successful. And so these are tools that you need in your toolkit. This is knowledge that you need to have. So when we get local, like Kristen's going to talk to you about all those different types of loans, and we'll be able to answer any kind of questions we have about that. Make sense? All right. Well, I got to change gears. I'm going to do it right now.
Okay.
So, Happy New Year. That sounds weird, right?
Yeah.
No, this is Happy New Year. This is absolutely Happy New Year. See, guess what? We're in the fourth quarter of 2023.
Yeah.
How long does it normally take you to get a client who's really engaged with you? About 3 months. Where's that put you? January, right. Also, we're heading into, we're already in October. We're at the 10th of October.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, we got November. What's in November? Thanksgiving. How about December? We got anything? Nothing going on in December, does it? Yeah, we lose almost 2 weeks of marketing time during December. We lose at least a week during November on average. So, like, if you aren't looking at building your business right now, then you're going to start off next year behind the 8 ball. The relationships that you build, the systems that you put in place needs to start happening now. This time of year, real estate's this big bell curve we have kind of going on. And right now we're going on that downward trend just on the total number of transactions. We don't have as many transactions in October and November and December. We have several weeks where we're closed, when most people don't work, that kind of stuff. A lot of people don't want to list properties during their holidays. They don't want to shop during the holidays. Doesn't mean that there's nothing going on, but now's the time to start building those relationships. Because do we want to come out of the gate on January 1 on fire? Well, do you think that means that you should get busy in January? When do you need to be busy? Now, right now is when we really got to start working on these kind of things. And so what I kind of want to walk you through and encourage you, like, do you have these things put together, right? Like, who here is working off a budget? Ooh, that's a dirty 5-letter word, isn't it? Yeah, this is one of those things that we all know we should have a budget. But do we like budgets? No, we don't tend to stay on them real good, but we need to set a budget so we know what we have. What are our monthly personal expenses? What are our business expenses? You know, what's that gonna be? How much do I need to make? Like, if you don't know how much you need to make, then how do you know how much you need to sell? Right? So you need to be able to set a budget on what does it cost you to live? What do you need to have? And so we have to start there. After that, we need to know how many clients do we need? On average, 1 out of every 40 conversations about real estate will end in a transaction. So if I want to have 25 transactions this year, how many conversations do I need to have? 1,000. That sounds daunting, doesn't it? Well, when you break it out, it's only 83 conversations a month. It's only 3.5 a day. A little over 3 conversations a day. Does that sound unreasonable now? No, but you got to look at how many conversations do I really need to have over the next year? And then who's my client? Who do I want to work with? This one is so important that a lot of times we miss out on, because so many people want to be everything to everybody real estate. And is that real? And is that like a realistic goal? No, all we end up doing is being mediocre at a lot of things, as opposed to being really good at certain things. So define, you know, are they a first-time buyer, seller, investor, renter, whatever? How old are they? Where do they want to live? How much money do they make? What's their family look like? What types of properties are they buying or selling? And then what are their concerns? What are the concerns is probably the most important question to ask yourself. Because what happens when I go out into social media and I send emails out to my group and answer their questions? Who gets attracted to me? The folks that have those type of questions, right? And then what lead systems are you going to use to attract you to those different types of leads? And how are you going to follow up? KV Core will be the right answer on there, kind of thing. And so, you know, all these things we have to start looking at how we're going to put that in place into our business. You know, what's the average sale price in your market? You know what the average sale price is in your market? You should. How much money do you need to make this year? And we talked about, you had your budget. How much commission do you need to make? It's not really that hard. These are just very basic numbers that you need to look at for your business plan to be able to move forward. And when's the time when we should do this? Right this second. Yeah, this is stuff that we should be doing right now. And then, you know, what objectives do you need to, are you trying to achieve this year? Of course, it's going to be, you want it smart, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, that kind of stuff. But like what you don't want to do is have goals and like, I want to do more, I want to work harder. That's garbage, right? It doesn't say anything. You know, I want to do this many transactions, I want to make this much in commission, I'm going to achieve this, I'm going to start farming, whatever it is. You want to set your smart objectives for what you're going to do over the course of the next year. And then the last one is, does your schedule match up? We all enjoy and like having accountability and having a schedule. We understand it, but
Bless you. Bless you.
and that's the double-edged sword in our industry, right? That's the tough part in our business, is that on one hand, we know that we need a schedule. We know that we're employee number 1001. The other thing is, we're also the CEO. And as a CEO, I can choose to sleep in if I want to and eat bonbons all day, right? Well, you got to start treating your business like a business. And so when you own a business, you're like, what time should my employees show up? Hard part is you're also that employee. So, I mean, you've got to have a schedule. What does your schedule look like? And what are you doing when you go in? Now's the time to put this stuff in place. Because when you put these practices in place, how does January start looking for you now? I mean, that's really kind of the big kicker here is that, you know, we work roughly 3 months ahead. I mean, what I'm doing today is going to bear fruit in 3 months. I have to focus on the activities, not on the outcome. Because when you focus on the outcomes, you get depressed. It's very easy to get down. Like, I don't have a transaction this month, nothing's going on, blah, 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 blah. Homer, right? Now, what's Spot going to do? He's going to focus on the activities. I do this, I continue to do this. These are going to reap this type of results. This is how I'm going to move forward. Are y'all with me? That's what we got to have, kind of thing, moving forward. So please take some time. We have several business planning classes. If somebody needs to sit down, I'll be glad to go through with anybody on their business plans, what we can do to help guide you and assist in any way, shape, or form. But now's the time to build your business plan. You know, I mean, before you know it, the holidays are here. And then it's gonna be January. If you're trying to get this going in January, now you're working for April. If you wait until January, you really kind of get going. So please don't put this off anymore. So be ready for fall, y'all. There's lots of things that we can do to reach out during this time. You know, understand our market's getting a little bit different, right? We got, you know, it is nice getting some cooler temperatures in it, not being so close to hell, you can see the sparks. So, you know, but leverage that fall marketing, talk about energy efficiency tips, stay real responsive with our folks right now. You know, flexibility is a big part of the fall, especially moving into the holidays. Do we have to be really flexible moving into the holidays? Yes, we really do. Continue to provide market updates, share the information that helps your clients be more like Spock and be less like Homer, that kind of stuff, and just be ready for the weather. So these are our top producers for the whole company. And so at this point, we're going to go into the local, regional, or the local offices, and we're going to be able to, and we're going to start working in the local offices. The lenders, we're going to go over those same things here in a minute. But thank you guys. I hope this was helpful. I hope you got some good information that can help you grow your business. And I love and appreciate y'all. So thank you.